Alright, you guys. So, today I'm going to read the full Declaration of Independence to you guys. So, subscribe to my video channel if you want to see some more history. And so, I was going to do another video, but I just put the mess up on YouTube because it was just funny. So, let's start it up, you guys. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, an unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of earth the separate and equal stations to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitles them. A decent respect to the options of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of new people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as them shall see most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Pursuance indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transit causes, and accordingly all experts hath shew that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accumulated. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, advises a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for the future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the President King of Great Britain, and a history of repeat injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states, to provide this, to let facts be submitted to a candidate world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation until his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he had altered negatively to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the rights of respiration and legislature a right inestable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into complaints with his measures. He has dissolved represtoration houses repeatedly for opposing with mainly firmness his invasions on the right of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers incapable of annihilation have returned to the people as a large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and confusion within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for that purpose, obstructing the laws of naturistic of foreigners, refusers to pass other to encourage their migrations neither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. Just 1 second, I need a break. Alright, I think I was right here. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws or establishing jurisy powers. He had made judges depending on his will alone for the texture of their offices and the amount of and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multiple of new offices and sent hither swarms to officers to harass our people and eat out their sustains. He has kept among us in time of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with other to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assistance to their acts of Protestant legislation for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on our inhabitant of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many causes of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offices, for abolishing the free system of England laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our characters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our own legislators and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all causes whatsoever. He has abolished government here by declaring us out of his protection and weighing, and he had put on our seas, ravaging the coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, dissolution, and tyranny, already begun with criticisms of cruelty and perfidy and scarcely paralleled in the most bare of his ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens, taking captive on the highest seas to bear arms against their country, to become the excluders of their friends and brothers, or to fall themselves by their hand. He has exited domestic insurrections among us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our founders, the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an accomplishing destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these operations, we have preparedness for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanted in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from the time to time of attempts by the legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our admission and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to dissolve these usurpations, which would invariably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consecutivity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denotes our separations, and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, and peace friends. We therefore, their reputation Representatives of the United States of America, and General Congress assembles, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions due in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from an alliance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, construct alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other right to do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divers providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives of fountains and our sacred honor. So that's the full Declaration of Independence. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to read the signers, there's another video that I'm going to post in just a little bit. And thank you for watching. See y'all next time.